LeBron's silence just changed everything. LeBron James didn't need a long speech to shake the entire NBA. He didn't need a dramatic farewell video. He didn't need a press conference. He didn't even need to stand in front of a microphone with the Lakers logo behind him. All it took was one message from his camp, one quiet signal from the people closest to him, and suddenly the league felt the ground move. Because for the first time in years, the idea of LeBron James leaving Los Angeles no longer sounded like noise. It sounded real. After 8 seasons in purple and gold, after a championship, after carrying the Lakers through injuries, roster changes, criticism, and impossible expectations, the relationship appears to be standing at a cold and uncomfortable crossroads. The shocking part is not just that LeBron may be ready to move on. The shocking part is how little resistance seemed to come from the organization that once treated him like the center of its universe. There was no powerful public push to keep him, no emotional campaign, no clear offer that told the world, this is still our king. Instead, the silence from Los Angeles became louder than any statement could have been, and that silence opened the door for something dangerous. Miami. Not the old Miami, not the rebuilding Miami, not a team just chasing headlines for attention. This is a Heat team that suddenly looks like it is preparing for one more massive swing, one more superstar move, one more attempt to turn South Beach into the center of the basketball world, because Giannis Antetokounmpo is already there. And once Giannis entered the picture, the LeBron to Miami rumors stopped feeling like fantasy. They started feeling like a warning to the rest of the league. Imagine LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Bam Adebayo, Erik Spoelstra, and Pat Riley all connected by one final championship mission. That is not just a roster idea, that is a nightmare for every contender in the East. But here is where the story gets even more intense. Giannis is not hiding it. He has made it clear that he respects LeBron, watches LeBron, and would welcome the chance to stand beside him. Every reaction, every quote, every little smile has been turned into evidence by fans who believe Miami is no longer waiting quietly. They are calling, and LeBron heard it. The question now is simple, but the answer could change everything. Is the King ready to return to the place where he first became the most feared player in basketball? If you are watching from Miami, Los Angeles, Cleveland, Golden State, or anywhere around the world, comment your city right now. If you believe LeBron should return to Miami, press 1. If you think he should stay away and choose another team, press 2. And if you want more NBA drama, trades, and superstar news like this, subscribe to the channel right now, because this story is only getting started. The Lakers' silence felt like a goodbye. For years, the Lakers operated like every major LeBron James decision had to run through the center of their franchise. But this time, something felt different. There was no loud public reassurance, no emotional promise that Los Angeles would do whatever it took to keep him, no message to the fan base that the partnership was still alive. Instead, the situation felt cold, quiet, and almost businesslike. And in the NBA, silence can sometimes say more than a press conference ever could. That is what made this so shocking. LeBron had given the Lakers everything they could ask for. He brought them back to relevance. He delivered a championship. He carried national attention, sold the vision, and kept the franchise in every major basketball conversation, even when the roster around him was flawed. He took the pressure, the criticism, the injuries, the roster changes, and still made Los Angeles feel important. But when the future became uncertain, the Lakers did not respond like a team desperate to protect its greatest star. That is where the drama began. Because LeBron is not just another aging veteran looking for a contract. He is still one of the most influential players in basketball. Even at this stage of his career, his decision can shift television ratings, playoff expectations, ticket demand, and championship odds overnight. When LeBron moves, the league reacts. So when reports began suggesting he would not return to Los Angeles, fans immediately started reading between the lines. Did the Lakers choose the future over the present? Did they believe the LeBron era had reached its natural ending? Did they quietly decide that building around another timeline mattered more than giving LeBron one final all-in push? Nobody in Los Angeles had to say it directly. The lack of action said enough, and that is what makes the breakup feel so uncomfortable. This does not look like a clean farewell between a superstar and a grateful franchise. It looks like two sides slowly realizing they no longer need the same thing. LeBron wants one more realistic path to a title. The Lakers may want flexibility, youth, and control over their next era. That gap is dangerous. Because once a star like LeBron feels the door closing, he does not wait around for sentimental speeches. He studies the board. He looks at rosters. He listens to people he trusts. And right now, one city keeps appearing in the background of every conversation. Miami? Why Miami? Suddenly became the loudest rumor. Miami was not supposed to be this loud. At first, the idea of LeBron returning to the Heat sounded like nostalgia. It sounded like something fans say because they miss the old days. South Beach, the black jerseys, the finals runs, the championship parades, the version of LeBron that looked almost impossible to stop. But then Miami made the kind of move that changes every conversation. Giannis Antetokounmpo arrived, and suddenly, everything looked different. Because LeBron returning to Miami without another superstar would have been emotional, but maybe not realistic. At this stage of his career, he is not looking to drag a team through an 8-2 game season by himself. He is not looking to carry every defensive possession, every late game decision, every media question, and every playoff matchup on his back. That version of LeBron still exists in flashes, but not as a full-time job. Miami with Giannis is a different story. Now the Heat can offer something Los Angeles may not be able to offer anymore. A structure where LeBron can lead without having to carry everything. Giannis gives Miami force. Bam Adebayo gives them defense and toughness. Erik Spoelstra gives them coaching stability. Pat Riley gives them a front office that has never been afraid of chasing greatness. That is the sell. LeBron would not be walking into a rebuild. He would be walking into a machine built for pressure. And the fit is what makes the rumors so dangerous. Giannis attacks the rim like a storm. Bam controls the defensive heartbeat of the team. Miami has always valued discipline, conditioning, and sacrifice. What they need is a brain, a table setter, someone who can slow the game down, organize chaos, and punish defenses for overreacting. That is still LeBron James. He does not have to score 35 every night in Miami. He does not have to chase every opponent's best wing for 40 minutes. He can pick his spots, control tempo, create shots for others, and turn a powerful roster into a smarter. That is why the rumor has weight, because Miami is not selling memories. They are selling one last championship blueprint, and for LeBron, that might be the only sales pitch that truly mattered. Giannis is not hiding what he wants. The most powerful recruiting pitch in the NBA does not always come from a general manager. Sometimes it comes from another superstar. And Giannis Antetokounmpo has made this situation impossible to ignore. He did not act like a player casually watching rumors from a distance. He did not give the safe answer and move on. Every time LeBron's name came up, Giannis reacted like someone who understood exactly what was at stake. He praised LeBron. He smiled about the possibility. He seemed genuinely excited by the idea that the two of them could share the same locker room. That matters, because stars know when another star is watching. LeBron has spent more than 2 decades being respected, challenged, criticized, copied, and chased. But admiration from Giannis carries a different kind of weight. This is not a young role player begging for attention. This is a former MVP, a champion, and one of the most physically dominant players of his generation, openly showing that he wants to play with LeBron. That changes the emotional temperature of the story. For Miami fans, every comment became a clue. Every smile became a signal. Every reaction became another reason to believe the Heat were not just interested, but quietly preparing. When Giannis reacted to the idea of LeBron signing somewhere else, fans did not see a random live stream moment. They saw a superstar who knew exactly how big this move could be. And he should know, because Giannis understands what LeBron could bring to Miami better than anyone. He knows what it feels like to carry a franchise. He knows how exhausting it is when every defensive wall is built for you. He knows how lonely it can be when the offense has no easy answers in the playoff. LeBron solves problems before they happen. He sees the double team early. He finds the weak side shooter. He controls pace when the game gets wild. He keeps young players calm. He understands playoff moments that most players only dream about reaching. That is why Giannis wants him. Not because of nostalgia, not because of headlines, not because of jersey sales, because LeBron could make winning easier. And when a player like Giannis starts publicly leaning into that idea, the rest of the league has to pay attention. Miami may not have the biggest contract. They may not have the easiest path, but they have something powerful. They have a superstar already waiting with the door open. The money problem. Nobody can ignore. There is one problem. Miami cannot talk its way around. Money. The Heat can offer the dream. They can offer the culture. They can offer Giannis, Bam, Spoelstra, Riley, South Beach, history, and one of the most dramatic returns in modern NBA memory. But they cannot offer LeBron the kind of money another team might be able to put on the table. And that is where this story becomes complicated. Because LeBron James is not just a basketball player. He is a brand, a businessman, and one of the most powerful athletes in the world. Taking less money is never a small decision, even for someone who has already earned more than most players could ever imagine. It sends a message. It changes expectations. It tells the world that the only thing left worth chasing is legacy. That is why Miami's pitch has to be perfect. They cannot win this with numbers on a contract. They have to win it with vision. They have to convince LeBron that the final chapter of his career should not be about salary. It should be about the image people remember when the story ends. Does he want the last major run to be in a Lakers jersey surrounded by uncertainty? Does he want a farewell tour without a real title chance? Or does he want one more dangerous playoff mission with Giannis charging downhill and Miami's entire building built around winning? That is the emotional question. And it is not easy, because family matters too. Los Angeles is not just where LeBron played basketball. It became home. His life, his business interests, his family rhythm, and his post-basketball future are all connected to that city. Leaving all of that for one final run would not be a casual decision. It would require belief. Real belief. That is why nobody should treat this as a done deal. Miami has the basketball argument, but Los Angeles has familiarity. Cleveland has history. Golden State has a different kind of championship temptation. Every option carries something personal, but here is the part Miami can hold on to. If LeBron's priority is truly winning, then the Heat are dangerous. If money is not the deciding factor, then Miami has a real chance. And if Giannis is already recruiting him behind the scenes the way he seems to be in public, then this story is much closer than people think. Because at this stage, LeBron is not choosing a team, he is choosing the ending. Cleveland and Golden State are still waiting. Miami may be the most emotional possibility, but it is not the only one. That is what makes the LeBron sweepstakes so unpredictable. Cleveland is still there, sitting in the background like a storybook ending nobody can fully dismiss. This is where LeBron began. This is where he carried a city's hope on his shoulders. This is where he delivered the championship that changed his legacy forever. If he returned to Cleveland one more time, it would not just be basketball, it would be full circle history. But full circle history does not always mean the best basketball decision. Cleveland has young talent. Cleveland has emotional power. Cleveland can offer a farewell that feels organic and deeply connected to his roots. But would LeBron want to return on a smaller deal without knowing the roster can truly win the East? Would he want the pressure of another homecoming when the championship path may still be uncertain? That is the problem. Then there is Golden State. The Warriors are the wild card fantasy that refuses to die. LeBron next to Stephen Curry would instantly become one of the biggest stories the league has ever seen. Two of the defining players of the modern NBA, once rivals in championship battles, suddenly joining forces near the end of their careers. The drama would be massive, the attention would be non-stop, the basketball IQ between them would be unreal. But Golden State comes with its own question. Can they make the roster work? Can they handle the age curve? Can LeBron fit into a system built around motion, shooting, and quick decisions without turning the offense into something completely different? Would the Warriors sacrifice future flexibility for one final swing at history? Maybe. Because teams like Golden State do not ignore the chance to add LeBron James. Still, Miami has one thing those teams may not have in the same way: immediate physical protection. Giannis and Bam can cover ground, defend, rebound, and absorb the most punishing parts of the game. That matters for a 4'1" superstar trying to stay fresh for April, May, and possibly June. So the decision becomes a triangle. Cleveland offers emotion, Golden State offers spectacle, Miami offers balance, and LeBron has to decide which ending feels most worthy of his name. That is why the entire league is stuck waiting. Every front office knows that when LeBron chooses, the rest of the offseason changes. Role players move differently, contenders adjust, fans react. Media cycles explode. One decision, three possible roads, and only one final chapter that can define how the world remembers the last great run of the King. What LeBron would actually bring to Miami. Forget the headlines for a second. On the court, LeBron James still solves a very real Miami problem. The Heat can have power. They can have toughness, they can have defense, they can have Giannis attacking the rim and Bam anchoring the middle. But in the playoffs, power alone is not enough. At some point, every elite defense loads up, every possession slows down, every weakness gets targeted, every bad decision becomes a turning point. That is where LeBron changes everything. He gives Miami order. With Giannis, defenses collapse into the paint. With Bam, teams have to respect the short roll, the screens, the handoffs, the physicality, but without a true organizer, those strengths can become crowded. LeBron is the player who can take that chaos and turn it into structure. He knows when to push. He knows when to slow down. He knows when to feed the hot hand and when to take the shot himself. That is a skill Miami desperately needs. He would not have to be the explosive version from his first Heat run. Nobody should expect that. This would be a different LeBron. Older, smarter, more selective, and more strategic. The kind of player who can control a game without dominating every second of it. That may actually make the fit better, because Giannis does not need LeBron to be the old LeBron. He needs him to be the mind of the team. Bam does not need LeBron to carry every matchup. He needs him to create advantages. Spoelstra does not need LeBron to play 42 minutes every night. He needs him healthy, engaged, and dangerous when the games matter most. And when the playoffs arrive, experience becomes currency. LeBron has seen every coverage, every trap, every hostile crowd, every media storm, every championship pressure point. There is almost no playoff situation that can surprise him anymore. For a Miami team trying to become an instant title threat after adding Giannis, that matters more than people realize. Because talent can get you into the conversation, but experience can keep you alive when the series turns ugly. That is the part of LeBron's value that does not show up in simple stats. He brings calm to pressure, he brings belief to a locker room, he brings fear to opponents who know that even now, if the game is close late, he can still control the ending. Miami does not need LeBron to be the past. They need him to be the final piece. The risk behind the dream. As exciting as this sounds, Miami has to be careful. Because building a super team on paper is easy. Surviving the reality is much harder. If LeBron joins Giannis and Bam, the expectations would explode overnight. Nobody would call Miami a fun experiment. Nobody would give them time to figure things out quietly. The moment LeBron signed, the Heat would become a championship or bust team. Every loss would be analyzed, every missed shot would become a debate, every quiet moment on the bench would be turned into a theory. That is the price of adding LeBron James. The Heat know this better than anyone. They lived through the first LeBron era, they remember the pressure, they remember the boos, the cameras, the national obsession, and the way every regular season game felt like a referendum on the entire project. They also remember the rewards, the finals trips, the banners, the fear they put into the league. But this version would be different. LeBron is older now. Giannis has already carried his own franchise. Bam has his own role and respect inside Miami's culture. Spoelstra is no longer proving he belongs. Pat Riley is chasing another title, but the margin for error is smaller than ever. There would be real basketball questions. Would the spacing work? Would Miami have enough shooting after giving up so many assets? Could Giannis and Bam share the floor with LeBron without crowding the paint? Could LeBron handle the physical grind of another long postseason? Could the Heat stay healthy long enough for the plan to matter? Those are not small concerns. And then there is the human side. A roster with multiple, powerful personalities needs trust. Giannis would have to accept LeBron's voice. LeBron would have to trust Spoelstra's system. Bam would have to stay aggressive without becoming the forgotten star. Role players would have to sacrifice touches, minutes, and ego. That is not automatic. But Miami's advantage is culture. The Heat are not a soft landing spot. They demand conditioning, discipline, accountability, and sacrifice. That environment can either sharpen a veteran team or expose every weakness inside it. So if LeBron chooses Miami, it will not be because the path is easy. It will be because he believes the pressure is worth it. And that is what makes this possibility so compelling. It is not safe. It is not simple. It is not guaranteed, but it is dangerous. And sometimes dangerous is exactly what a final championship run needs. The decision that freezes the league. Right now, the NBA is waiting on one answer. Where does LeBron James want to end this chapter? That question is bigger than one roster spot. Bigger than one contract, bigger than one franchise trying to win the offseason. Because LeBron's decision affects everybody. If he chooses Miami, the East changes immediately. If he chooses Cleveland, the emotional weight of the league shifts. If he chooses Golden State, the NBA becomes a spectacle overnight. If he chooses a surprise team, every front office has to react. That is the power he still has. Even after all these years, LeBron can freeze the market. Teams cannot fully move until they know what he is doing. Contenders have to keep options open. Veterans may wait to see where the best title chants form. Media attention stays locked on every hint, every workout, every quote, every social media post, every tiny signal that might reveal what is coming next. That is why this story keeps growing. LeBron has not chosen yet, and that uncertainty is the engine. Miami believes it has a real pitch. Giannis gives them star power. Bam gives them defensive identity. Spoelstra gives them structure. Riley gives them ambition. The history gives them emotion. The chance to return to South Beach gives the entire thing a cinematic feeling that almost no other team can match. But LeBron has never made decisions based only on romance. He studies the situation. He looks at roster depth. He thinks about family. He thinks about health. He thinks about the playoffs. He thinks about legacy. He thinks about how the story will be told 10 years from now. That is what makes this so hard to predict. The basketball side says Miami makes sense. The emotional side says Cleveland cannot be ignored. The entertainment side says Golden State would break the internet. The personal side says Los Angeles may still be difficult to leave behind, even if the Lakers chapter is ending. So the league waits, Giannis waits, Miami waits. And Lakers fans are left wondering how a relationship that once felt permanent reached this point so quietly. That may be the real shock of the whole story. Not that LeBron has options. He always has options. The shock is that the Lakers may have allowed the door to open wide enough for Miami to walk through, and if Miami walks through that door with Giannis standing beside them, the NBA may be staring at the beginning of one last super team storm. The final choice, no matter where LeBron James goes next, this decision is bigger than basketball. It is about legacy, timing, and how a legend chooses to write his final chapter. If he returns to Miami, it would not just be another free agency move. It would be a full circle moment back to the place where he first turned pressure into championships and became the most feared player in the league. Strategically, Miami makes sense. Giannis brings power, Bam brings defense, Spoelstra brings structure, Riley brings ambition, and LeBron brings the one thing every contender needs in the playoffs: control. He can organize the offense, calm the locker room, create easy looks, and turn big moments into smart decisions. But the lesson here is simple. Talent only works when everyone sacrifices. A super team cannot survive on names alone. Stars must trust each other. Coaches must manage egos. Role players must accept their jobs. And the entire team must choose winning over pride. If Miami gets that right, LeBron and Giannis could become one of the most dangerous late career partnerships the league has ever seen. There is also a human side to this story. If the Lakers chapter is truly ending, it does not have to end with bitterness. LeBron gave Los Angeles a championship. The Lakers gave him another historic stage. Both sides can move forward with respect, even if the road is splitting now. So the question remains, does LeBron return to Miami for one final run with Giannis? Does he go back to Cleveland and close the circle? Does he shock the world with Golden State? Or does the Kings still have one surprise left? If you think LeBron should return to Miami, comment 1. If Cleveland is the perfect ending, comment 2. If you want him with the Warriors, comment 3. And if you believe he has a mystery move coming, comment 4. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more NBA news, superstar drama, and trade updates.